Alright. Right a long time. See if it works. Getting better at driving through Japan now. So we'll see if I can keep the camera where it is. People asked me if they could see the traffic and these tiny ass roads. So I will try to oblige. I don't know how well you can see facing the forward camera, and the camera tends to fall down quite a fair bit. But I will try to oblige these tiny little streets in a tiny little car. But we're going to look at getting ourselves a four-wheel drive Hi-Ace, which will be a bit more interesting because it's a lot bigger of a vehicle. Oh shit, did I not shut a door? Nah, I didn't shut the back door again. Oh well, we'll see how it goes. So, driving in Japan's getting a bit easier now. As you can see that the traffic lights are up in the middle. It takes a little getting used to. Ugh. They're quite potholy roads, which is why I kind of want something with a bit of suspension, but I don't want a four-wheel drive because I can't put a bike in it or do anything that I want to do. So we're going to attempt to see how we go with a Toyota Hi-Ace four-wheel drive, which I don't think you can get in Australia unless it's imported. So it'd be quite cool to have one, especially during the winter here. It gets really icy. Do I go? I don't know. See, everyone kind of dawdles into their lanes. So when you drive here, it's kind of like Queensland, where you drive up in the intersection during that time and then you're going to turn on the red light, which is kind of interesting. I've still got to try to get used to talking on camera because I'm going to do another video tonight talking to people asking for some help about making some videos and doing some stuff we plan on doing in Japan, which should be interesting. They've just had Golden Week, which was quite nice, but everyone had a week off. So everyone had all the cherry blossoms blossoming, and they had all their barbecues that were quite cool. We tried to make a video when we went down and wanted to do like a bit of a walk through the park with all the lanterns and everything, but I think we left it a bit late because once we managed to put Amaya to bed, we went down, and I think it was about 8:45 when we left. So when we got down, it was only about 5 minutes there, so we got down at about 10 to 9. So when we started videoing, it was about 5 to 9. And then as soon as we started walking, the lights went out. So walking through the Hanami at night. I got you. Ah. Oh no. That put a bit of a dampness. That was like 2 seconds of video and then boom, nothing. So I might throw that up there just to see. So if there is a green light here, it usually comes on the red. As you can see, the roads are, some of the roads got big. Oh yeah, we've got a green. Uh-oh. Cruising on down. So it's been a bit of an interesting week. I went down to a driving range, which is quite cool because the driving range here, you don't pay for anything except for the balls. So you just go down there. There's 2 levels. It was kind of funny because I went down with an American guy, and because we're white guys, they thought that we might be professional. So some of the guys pulled up a seat to kind of watch us hit the ball, and I missed the ball like 4 times trying to hit it because I suck at golf. I haven't played golf or even tried to hit a golf ball since I was probably 14, so that's a few years ago now. But I had a bit of fun. I managed to kind of start hitting the balls and having a bit of fun with it, which I thought, yeah, it's pretty cool. I wonder if I can move this camera a bit straighter without it falling down. And it looks like I've got a huge bonnet, but I don't have a huge bonnet. Now you see that yellow number plate in front of us? That means Keika or Kika, or however they fucking pronounce it. I always say it wrong, so they're always telling me Keika. No, it's Kika or Kika. It sounds exactly the same as what I say, but it's not. So you'll see a lot of those. So they're a lot cheaper to run because they're only over a certain size, and they're only allowed up to a 660cc motor. So it's the same as this car. Anything bigger, you'll see they'll have like a white license plate. As you see, there's like, can't pass parks, everyone rides bikes. A lot of people ride bikes here, but you tend to find that most of them are either over 60 or under 16. You tend not to see anyone of middle age riding bikes like you do in Australia for exercise. You tend not to see it. And as you can hear, the radio stations in Japan suck. So they're kind of boring. They're like talk radio, or they have very limited... Whoa. Try not to lose the camera on the bumps. Death by traffic lights through here. You got a lot of these convenience stores which are wicked. The convenience store fried chicken is some of my favourite stuff, but I got to try to stop myself from eating it because I'll end up getting fat if I keep eating that shit, or more fat than I already am. You can see everyone back there. So you see that one's got the white license plate, which makes it a large vehicle. We want something like that, but not as big. So possibly like that silver car to the right of screen. As we went through, something we can hold a fair amount of people, so we can go out on adventures and take people exploring, because we're not just planning on being here for the experience. I plan on doing something myself, running my own business over here, hopefully once we can learn a bit more about it. So I'll talk about that in another video, because we are planning on doing a few things over here. It's just trying to get daycare and stuff sorted for Amaya, and the mother-in-law is a little bit against daycare because she thinks they might die for some reason. I don't know, because she had a bad experience 20 years ago with Kimmy, so she's not too ecstatic about the idea of sending them to daycare. But it's going to be almost impossible for us to work if we don't, because, you know, the mother-in-law is getting a bit old and she's very tired, so it's very difficult to kind of rely on the mother-in-law to look after Amaya if we want to go and do stuff or work more, because I'm only working part-time at the moment. So I'm only going in for one class, teaching a bit of English, which is kind of an interesting thing. So today's kind of a difficult one because we do like they call it like a Super Kids 2. So you have kids that have graduated a Super Kids 1 class, but they do their phonics class in Japanese, and they have very limited English. I do a class tomorrow that is quite good because, you know, they are reasonably fluent in English, and it's more of a writing class, so it kind of refreshes my own mind about English, because it's been a while since I've had to use any of that kind of English. And a lot of the time I'm not used to hearing the American ideas of that English. So like using period instead of full stop, that one always gets me. Because they're always like period, or you use sofa instead of couch. But that stuff's kind of boring, and it's not really what I'm quite keen on talking about. I'm more interested in the biking system. So I really wanted like a KTM 350 or something bigger. But it's kind of expensive because you have to do these really intensive car inspections. So if your car's older than 3 years, you have to do it every 3 years. If you have an older car, you have to do it every 2 years. So I really don't see a huge problem with doing it every 2 years. But with a motorbike, if you have under a 250cc or a 250cc and under, you can not have one, so you don't need an inspection on a bike smaller than a 250. So possibly you might get a 250 enduro, I don't really have any use for a 250 road bike, especially here. You've only got a few months of summer, and then the rest of the year it's snow. So I don't really want to deal with a road bike in snow. But there's an opportunity, if I like it, to have a go at snow biking, and if I like it, possibly use it on a 250. A 250 might be a little bit gutless with a snow bike conversion. But you know, I'm not the fittest of guys, so it's probably not a bad option to be kind of restricted with your speed and what you can do with it. Yeah, so we're coming up to the intersection of Death, where you've got the tram lines. So it's similar to Melbourne, where you've got to be kind of careful where you kind of park yourself, because trams don't stop for you. So it's a bit rather interesting. And you got to go this way. You can't go, if I miss this turn, it's kind of impossible, because there's only, everything kind of runs in one-way streets in this kind of part of town. And also you probably noticed that there's not a lot of lines, so you might have a 2-lane road, but because of all the snow they get, the lines tend to disappear. So you know, I don't know what you do about that. But anyway, let's maybe turn this camera around. No, what does that do? I don't know, we'll just keep, I guess we keep doing it the way it's doing it. We're already up to about 11 minutes, so luckily we're almost there. So as you see, I've got to kind of pull up here, but I can't pull up too far because you've got these tram lines in front, and the trams want to kill me. It's a nice looking bike. Oh, I can go. But as you turn, you'll find that they also get a green light. Oh wow, that's a cool looking Suzuki. So I take that second left up here, and then I get good to go. We went up to a place called Nanai the other day. Great ramen. Because we took the back way home, because we went down to one of the doctors for Amaya, because she had a wee bit of a cough. Turned out just, you know, the cold air had been getting to her a little bit. Anyway, I'll catch you guys later, and I'm going to get to work.